Okay, I'm going to show you how to do example 1 from problem set 1. And I'm going to go ahead and draw this out. So it says a machine is used to put nails into boxes, doing so that the actual number of nails in a box is normally distributed with a mean of 106 and a standard deviation of 2. And then we're trying to find all these percentages. So the first thing that you want to do when you're solving a problem like this, and it tells you it's normally distributed, and you have both the mean and the standard deviation, you can draw the normal curve. So I'm going to kind of draw a normal curve here, best I can. And we're going to label first the mean right here, which we're told is 106. Okay, so pretend like that looks normal. And now we're going to use the information they give us to label the next little amounts. So the first thing it tells us 1 standard deviation away brings us 2 over, so we get 108. And going to the other direction, we would get 104. And then remember, for 1 standard deviation away, we're talking about 68% fall within 1 standard deviation. Now we're going to go to 2 standard deviations, and notice that I'm not drawing this totally to scale right now. 2 standard deviations away, so we would add 2 more and get to 110, and over here we would subtract 2 more and we get 102. And then remember, for 2 standard deviations, you're talking about 95% of the data falls within 2 standard deviations. Okay. And then we're going to go 1 more, and that's 3 standard deviations away. And at 3 standard deviations, I'm going to add 2, so I get 112. And over here, I'm going to subtract 2, and I get 100. And kind of running out of room, so I'm just going to kind of write it over here. For 3 standard deviations, you're talking about 99.7% of the data. Sometimes it does help to kind of label these separate ones. You can do it later, but if you do it now, it will help you if you have to break this up anymore. So remember, if this is 68% of the data, that means each part of this to the right and left is just 34, because that's half of 68, right? So 34 plus 34 will give me my 68. For this piece here, let's see if I can highlight that. So for this piece and this piece, first thing you have to do is subtract 68 from 95, right? And then you would divide that amount by 2 to figure out what each one of these pieces are, and that is 13.5. Right? Okay, so 95 minus 68, and then divide that amount in 2, and you get each part. And then we're at the last part, and we have subtract 99.7 from 95. That would tell me, if I highlight this and pick a different color, so I'm going to look at these amounts. So 99.7, that total minus all of this, which is 95%, and divide that by 2, and you get 2.35. So these pieces are 2.35. You can even do that for this last little piece here, right? This is 99.7. All of it would be 100%. So you would be taking 100 minus 99.7, which is 0.3, and you would have to divide 0.3. So let me just show you one of them. Oops, hold on. Okay, so we're going to take 100 minus the 99.7, so that gives you the amount that you have total for both of those ends, which is 0.3. Then you have to divide it by 2, and you get 0.15. So we can label that now as each one of these is 0.15. So you don't always have to label all of these pieces. I just wanted to show you in case we need any of them. So this one kind of got lost, but over here we have 0.15. Okay, so now let's go ahead and answer the questions. And the first one says, what percentage of boxes contain more than 104 nails? So this one's actually easy now that we've labeled our whole diagram. So more than 104 first of all, from 106 on, this is 50% of our data, right? Because it's half of it. And then from 104 to 106, we already labeled that that's 34% of our data. So we have the 34, and we know the rest of it is 50, right? And so all you have to do is add these two parts together to get from more than 104, and you get that is 84%. Okay, so now let's do the second one. And it says what percentage can contain more than 110. So you go over to 110, which is right here, and I have the 2.35 and the 0.15, so it's this whole piece right here. So you would need to add those two together. So it'd be the 2.35, oh, that does not look like a 5, plus the 0.15, and you get 2.5%. It's supposed to be a 5. Okay, for 3 it says what percentage of boxes contain less than 108. So you go to 108, and this is actually similar to the first one we did. First of all, the first half, or the first half is 50% right here, and then to get to 108 we just need to add another 34% to it. So 50 plus 34, we already did that. It's actually the same as the first one. It's 84%. For the fourth one, it says what percentage of boxes contain less than 100 nails. So you go to 100, and less means you're looking to the left, and we actually already labeled that. That only contains 0.15%. So 0.15%. Okay, now for the fifth one, it says what percentage of boxes contain between 102 and 112? So between 102 and 112. So with a problem like this, I would actually start first with 102 is 2 standard deviations, right? So from 102 to 110, which is another 2 standard deviations away, we know this is 95% of the data falls within. And then all we need to do is add this additional 2.35 to get up to the 112. So you just add those pieces together and get 97.35. Okay, so for the last one, I'm going to erase this. What percentage of boxes contain between 100 and 106? And it looks like the word nails got cut off. Let's refix that, 106. So between 100, which is over here, and 106. And again, we already have these pieces, so we can just add them up. You need to add the 2.35 plus the next piece, the 13.5, plus the 34. And when you add those all up for this one, this should say nails, when you add that up, you get 49.85%.